And then you just want to kind of break it up. Oh geez, this is more of an arm workout than I would like.
We're gonna see who makes the best pancakes on Epicurious today. If you are new, welcome to the channel. My name is James Makinson. I've been cooking for many years in the United States and over here in Europe, and I have plenty of other videos and recipes on my YouTube channel as well, so be sure to check those videos out after seeing this one. And if you do happen to enjoy this video, then be sure to give it a like, give it a share, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it does mean a lot to me and every little bit counts. Now, let's get started.
Hi, I'm Steven and this is my pancake recipe.
Hi, I'm Beth and this is the Domino family pancake recipe.
Hi, I'm Penny and I've been a professional chef for 15 years.
Almost the whole gang from the pizza video is here, Steven and Beth. And Steven actually surprised me in that past video because he did a pretty good job. Let's see if he does good again today, because otherwise it may have been a fluke.
I came up with this because I got tired of the monotony of regular pancakes and I really wanted to shake it up.
My children loved pancakes when they were growing up. We make them all the time.
This is my pancake recipe that I make on any Sunday morning that my husband is willing to do the dishes.
It's nice when you have a little helper cleaning the dishes for you, although it also matters if they do a good job, because if they don't do a good job and you go to use the pan the next time, well, you have to clean it again, don't you? Before we get too far into the video, let me know down below who do you think is going to make the best pancakes today? The chef, Steven, or Beth?
We have our pancake mix already prepared in this bowl.
I start with the flour.
Obviously, there's flour here. So that's a little bit of whole wheat flour. I replaced some of the all-purpose flour with.
Whole wheat flour pancakes is not my favorite thing to eat in the morning. I'd rather have just a piece of bloody toast instead of actually having like whole wheat pancakes. Now, since whole wheat is very dense, you may want to do what she's doing if you do want to use it by using only half, because otherwise the batter will be very dense. Also, when you are measuring the ingredients, especially the flour, it is a good idea to measure the ingredients by weight. So to get a scale and use it instead of just measuring it with a cup, because otherwise you can compact the flour.
And then, of course, there's a little bit of sugar, because you gotta have sugar.
Gotta have sugar.
2 whole brown eggs. There's a lot of shells in there.
And then we have our chemical leaveners. We have baking powder and baking soda.
To help them rise.
So far, Steven's not off to a good start. Unless you enjoy fishing out all the little eggshells in the batter, it's a better idea to crack the eggs into a separate little bowl first, and then add them to the batter, unless you do, of course, don't mind either fishing them out or, well, eggshells are good for you. I mean, it's extra calcium. It just adds a little bit of a crunch to your pancakes. Also, for those that don't know the difference between baking soda and baking powder, baking soda is 100% sodium bicarbonate, which is an alkaline compound that creates carbon dioxide gas when mixed with an acid. Baking powder is a mixture of sodium bicarbonate and an acid-like cream of tartar, which requires moisture and heat to activate.
Powder and baking soda.
To help them rise.
Cut about half of the cheesecake.
No.
This
No.
is breaking up the monotony.
No.
There you go.
Is he serious?
And then you just want to kind of break it up. Oh geez, this is more of an arm workout than I would like.
What the bloody hell is he doing? He's putting half a cheesecake literally into the batter. I'll be honest, that's the first time I've ever seen in my life somebody adding cheesecake to pancakes. I've never seen that before. Never. And since he's adding so much cheesecake, he's gonna change the texture, yeah? And I'm sure there's a lot of sugar in that as well. So
I always start with a cup of milk.
And then we'll follow up with our buttermilk.
This is some graham cracker sprinkles. It added a little je ne sais quoi. Don't know what that means though.
he was a character in the other video too, but seriously, je ne sais quoi literally means I don't know what. So he doesn't know what I don't know what means, and he uses it.
This is the important part. Don't overmix it.
I don't want to overmix this.
And you want to make sure that you mix it thoroughly.
That's it, that's the batter.
One thing is over mixing, the other thing is that you don't want any lumps, and it's better to use a whisk instead of a spatula to make sure that you don't have any. But it's also a good idea to allow the mixture to rest a little bit to allow the flour to hydrate. Speaking of hydration, now would be a good time to hear a word from our sponsor. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. With ZBiotics, you can savor all your favorite drinks without worry. Say hello to a happier gut. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it most. Ready to experience the ZBiotics difference? Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so make sure to stock up on ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic before the feast. You'll be thankful you did the next day. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/ChefJames and use code ChefJames at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this video.
Now we're gonna cook the pancakes.
All right, so now on to the fun bacon part. This is where the magic is really happening in this recipe. I'm gonna take the bacon and we're gonna chop it into small pieces. And just one down through the center for good measure.
And what I like to do to grease the pan is to use some vegetable oil on a piece of paper towel or a kitchen towel. I like the way the oil works better with the pancakes than the butter.
You wanna take a good chunk of butter.
I prefer using butter instead of oil. Tastes better. Unsalted butter.
So I don't really need to over grease this, but I'm gonna make sure that the pancake doesn't stick.
Before I make the pancakes, I always like to do a tester pancake to make sure that the pan is hot and the consistency of the batter is exactly where I want it.
My skillet's nice and hot. It's preheated to a good medium-high temperature. And I'll pour my batter into the center.
Now for everybody that hasn't had American pancakes before, they are thicker. The batter is thicker, but here it looks like the batter's a little too thick. Also, if you happen to put the batter into the fridge before and you take it out and the batter's cold, it's going to be a little extra thick. So you may want to let the batter sit for a few minutes to come up to more like room temperature, because like this, it's too thick. And if it's too thick, you can actually end up with a bit of a raw center. And if you haven't seen that video with PewDiePie, then I'll leave the link down below for you guys to check it out.
Oh!
So this is the first pancake. The first pancake is not usually your best pancake. Most often it ends up actually in the garbage.
Some say the first pancake never comes out perfect. I go against some.
We're gonna see about that.
And now we wait.
Waiting for pancakes is one of the hardest things you can do in the world. That's a nice color on both sides.
Because this is just...
Ooh!
So rule of thumb, we always try to throw away the first pancake. It's burnt, if we're gonna be honest. It's burnt.
You don't even have to taste it, it's burnt. And what happens when you burn something? It changes the flavor. I honestly think it's burnt because he added so much cheesecake, and depending on how much sugar was actually in that cheesecake, the sugar burnt. Because at this temperature, if he's also watching the pancake, it shouldn't burn on you. That is, of course, if you're paying attention, because you know, if you do happen to, well, look at your phone, Insta, TikTok or whatnot, and then you walk away, it's easy to burn food. Very easy. Oof.
All right, wish me luck. Ah! It's a mess. Told you the first one.
Bloody hell, does she have to like scrape so hard? When using a spatula to flip anything, you don't really have to dig into the pan. And if you have a mic on you as well, and you're gonna be recording this, be a little careful.
Now that our testing pancake came out great, let's make 4 more.
Now we're gonna go in for round 2.
Put some blueberries on.
Candied bacon. I like a piece of bacon in every forkful of pancake.
I was gonna say something smart, but I think it's best if I keep it to myself.
I think I'm romanticizing.
Now we wait for the bubbles.
But it's still not ready. Mother's intuition.
You know when to flip the pancakes when you see lots of bubbles on top and the bubbles start to pop.
Bubbles are already starting to release.
This is also another thing with the US pancakes. You want to see those little bubbles popping, and if the batter is not too thick, you should start to see some of the bubbles popping more towards the center. And when they do, then it's time to flip.
I'm supposed to flip it 4 times, about twice on each side.
I only like to turn my pancakes once.
It's gonna do what it does.
There we have a beautiful blueberry pancake. Nice lift when I turned it. Thank you, baking powder.
Good. Very good. So far, the best.
So you have the bubbles on the first side that tell you when to flip, but you don't have that kind of benefit on the second side. So any place that little bit of batter escaped when I flipped it, that's kind of my guide. Once I see that look more dry, then I know maybe I'm okay.
Right. All the advice that she just gave, forget about it. When you flip the pancake, obviously you can't tell to see if there's going to be any more bubbles because it's cooked. So what you can do is, after a little while, you can poke the center of the pancake to see if there's any resistance. If it comes up, it's done. If it stays down, you know, after you poke it, or it comes up very slowly, the center's not finished. It's not cooked yet. Or you could also test it with a toothpick. You poke the center of the pancake because it's the thickest, and if it comes out clean, it's done. Or if you're not as neat and you don't have a toothpick, you can use a little knife. And then you can see that somebody cut your pancake open.
Now we're gonna make our toppings.
Always start with some nice butter that will melt on our warm pancakes.
So the brown butter that was in the pancake recipe, we only used 3 tablespoons of that, but I went ahead and made the entire pound of brown butter, because why not?
We're gonna chop the strawberries, pour the strawberry syrup on top of the strawberries.
What is Steven doing? He could easily have made a little berry compote. He has the sugar, he has the berries, and he also has alcohol if he wants to deglaze the pan. And of course, if you want to add some orange zest or you want to add some other ingredients to it, he has it.
First, we'll put the maple syrup so that the blueberries will stick to the syrup.
Nobody likes maple syrup.
I like real maple syrup, and it's been a long time since I've had it because most of the syrup that you see in the store is not actual maple syrup. It doesn't come from maple trees. It's industrially made. For everyone living in Canada, correct me if I'm wrong, but with the maple syrup, I don't know if people still do this, but they used to make, or maybe they still do, maple taffy. So they actually take the maple syrup, heat it up, and then they pour it into the snow, and well, they have a little quick snack. Something fun to do during the winter time.
We're gonna start with a bourbon maple syrup. We're gonna take a vanilla bean, split that down the center, and scrape down the pod with the back of a paring knife. Just scrape that into there and add the bean as well. A pinch of salt, bourbon, lots of it.
She added over half a cup of bourbon to this, like way too much. When you're making this, unless you're going to be cooking off the alcohol, you just have to add a little bit of bourbon. Yeah, just a little bit to add a little bit of flavor. Adding this much, you can get drunk eating the pancakes. Maybe that's what she wants. You need to cook the alcohol off. So you add that first. Yeah, you can flambe it as well. Burn it off, reduce it, and then you add the other ingredients. My goodness, imagine this. Having all the sugar, all the butter, and then on top of it, having almost a cup of bourbon in the morning. I think her sauce that she's making is going to be a little runny.
And we're going to bring this up to a simmer. The easiest way to get it to a consistent simmer is to first bring it up to a boil, and then as soon as it hits a boil, turn it down, and we're going to let that hang out for about 10 to 15 minutes so that all the flavors blend together.
Our blueberries and a final flourish of a little lemon zest.
Then you take the syrup and lather it on. You can even pour it. Ooh, that looks good.
And I'm gonna drizzle it over the top of my pancakes.
See what I mean? Way too thin. Might as well just soak the pancakes in bourbon and be done with it.
And no joke, I'm also gonna put it in a small pitcher and serve it alongside because the amount of syrup on the top is never enough. So I really like a little bit of a fruity element with my pancakes, and so I made an apple butter. Apple butter is like applesauce, but it's cooked way longer and very rich, and a lot of the moisture has been cooked out. So I like to just serve this alongside my pancakes and dip in as I go.
And keep in mind, if you haven't seen that pizza video, which you should see after seeing this one, Steven did a very good job.
Let's dig in.
My husband's gonna be so jealous that I ate these.
These are my pancakes.
I see where I messed up, but it's really good.
Oh my God, they're so good.
To be honest, I think Beth did the best out of all of them. Steven, oh man, I mean, literally like putting half a cheesecake into the batter and everything. It's just, he made a mess. I don't even know what he made. He just made a mess. He destroyed the cheesecake. That's what he did. He destroyed a perfectly good cheesecake. And the chef Penny, she did okay. It's just that for her, I would expect her to tweak maybe a few little things to maybe make it a little nicer, because this, especially the sauce at the end. Let me know who you think did the best down below, guys, and be sure to check out this next video coming up here. And also let me know on any other reviews or, well, cooking videos that you would like us to make as well in the comments down below. Have a great week. Take care. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video as well. And I will see you guys again very soon. Until then, take care.